really sharing 3 steps to create a more inclusive yoga business. And some of you may have seen, hello Uplift, hey guys, where are you guys watching from today? Some of you may have seen the interview I did with Michelle Johnson yesterday from Skill in Action here on Instagram, and that interview was all about social justice in the yoga industry, and today is really a bit of a follow-up on that, and part of our commitment to really show up for you guys and support you to build and grow more diverse, inclusive communities and businesses. So share with me how you guys are as you start to join. Share how you are and where you're watching from, how you're feeling today. Hey, Cheryl's in New York. How are you guys feeling today? Really excited to be back live with you. It's always the highlight of my day when I get to connect live on Instagram and on Facebook here with my community, with you guys. And really, you know, this is, I've been learning a lot. I've been doing a lot of my own work, and I just kind of want to set the scene really about what we're doing here at Digital Yoga Academy, just to begin with. And if you joined me yesterday, you'll have heard me mention that we've been working with an amazing, she's absolutely amazing, diversity, equity and inclusion consultant. And the reason that we've done this is because we don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. However, the anti-racism movement is really important to me as a business owner and as a human being. And, you know, I really believe that each of us has a responsibility to play our part in creating a more racially just world. Okay, I really believe that. And if you believe that too, then join me for these sessions, and just really, I encourage you to be part of the work that we're doing and to make it part of the work that you're doing too. Okay, if you're driven by the same belief, then we have work to do. Okay, and we're not always going to get it right. You know, we're not always going to get it right. And some of you will have tuned into that interview yesterday with Michelle, and she's an activist, she's a yoga teacher, she's an author of the book that's called Skill in Action. It has an incredible workbook attached to it, so I really encourage you guys to go and check that out. And one of the things that she said is that it starts with your why, learning the history and really knowing that this isn't a marathon. You know, this culture shift, it takes time. So we need to start with ourselves. We need to do this inner work, and we need to learn, and we need to listen. And so I think, you know, if we think that we don't have to do anything individually because we perceive ourselves or our business to, you know, to already be inclusive, or that, you know, everyone's welcome here, so therefore we've achieved everything that we need to achieve in terms of equity. If you think that, I really invite you to bring some humility and a beginner's mind to this, because as a culture, as a collective, as a world, we haven't achieved equity. So we all still need to do a lot of work. There's still work to be done, okay? So have a think about that. Please have a think about that. And, you know, if we look at our own circle of influence and the impact that we have individually on the world, this applies to our business as well. And so this is a place where you can take some action and you can start to make a difference, okay? And this is why I'm talking to you guys about it today. So some of you will have seen on Monday this week, especially if you're on my email list, you'll have seen that we launched a survey, okay? We launched a survey to you guys, asking you to tell us about your ethnic background and to share some of your experiences working in the yoga industry in relation to equity, equality, diversion, and so on. And this survey is also a chance for us here at Digital Yoga Academy to determine what you guys look like, to determine what our community looks like in terms of diversity, like how diverse is our community, is this community? And this will give us, internally, it will give us a data point for our diversity goals. And it's really a good starting point for us. And I invite you to take part in the survey. If you're watching on Instagram, just head to the link in my bio after this training and you'll be able to take part in the survey. If you're in the Facebook group, there's go to the top of the page. I've pinned it to the top of the page. There's a poll, which is like one of the questions from the survey, and then there's the link to the survey as well. So please take part in this. And this is the sort of thing that you can do with your community, and I invite you to do that. Like, you can literally use the survey questions in my survey as a guideline to create your own survey, okay? So let's work together on this, because it's important to know where you're at as well. And, one of our goals here at Digital Yoga Academy is that we want to grow a more diverse and inclusive community. Yeah, we want to ensure that teachers of colour or teachers from BIPOC communities are part of our community, are part of this community, and feel included. And so it's important for us to know where we are right now. Okay, so that's the reason why we're doing this survey. And we'll be having more ongoing conversations around these issues. And as part of that, we invite you and encourage you to share your experiences. And I really hope that, my hope is that we create a space where we can all learn together, and this can create a ripple effect into your businesses and into your communities and even beyond that. Okay, so if you're a white teacher hearing this right now, we're raising our hands together and we're saying that we need to do better, like we're learning. And if you're a black teacher or a teacher of colour, you can hear some of the shifts that we're doing to be making in our business and within this community as well. Okay, so we can all hold each other accountable for doing this work. And this community, I'm sure all of you will agree, this community is supportive. Okay, we support one another and we're compassionate towards one another. And I really hope that that helps to set the scene and the tone for what we're doing internally, and how we'll support you to do the same in your businesses and within your communities. And at the end of the day, we're here to build businesses. We're here to build our communities. Yeah, we're here to build our communities. Are we? We are. Give me a high five on that. And we're here to grow. We're here to share the message of yoga and to encourage more people around the world to practice yoga and make it a part of their life. And if equity truly matters to us, then representation matters, right? So people need to be able to see themselves. People don't see themselves, they don't feel like they belong, okay? We want our students to see themselves reflected, in what we're putting out there. And when you see yourself reflected, it allows your ideal student to take that next step with you, because they see that and they feel like they belong there. Does that make sense, guys? So, business is about belonging, right? Business is about belonging. Life is about belonging. And business is an extension of our lives, okay? So our business is about belonging, and belonging is all about being seen and being accepted and being cared for, because the people and the brands that you're interacting with really want you around. Okay, so it's up to us as business owners to really spark those feelings by sending that signal to our students, and to create a more inclusive space for our students. So rather than giving out that signal that this isn't for you, does that make sense? Okay, so if I draw on my own business, in my business, I want to reach entrepreneurial yoga teachers. I want to reach entrepreneurial yoga teachers, and I want everyone to be able to feel like they belong here. So we're inclusive. We're creating a more inclusive business. Okay, so that kind of just sets the scene, really. That sets the scene. So let's dive in, shall we? So I'm sharing with you 3 steps today to create a more inclusive yoga business. So I really believe that the first step is really to commit to doing your own anti-racism work. Okay, that's the first step. So And I got a lot from the talk with Michelle yesterday. Like, she's amazing, guys. If you missed that, I really encourage you to hop over to IGTV sometime this week, maybe after this session, and go and watch that interview, because she's absolutely incredible, incredible yoga teacher, activist, and she has so much to share on this. And I learned a lot from her yesterday. And I think, you know, with the Black Lives Matter movement, we've seen the resources, haven't we? Yeah, we can't say that we don't know where to look. We can't say we don't know where to look. We've seen the resources that are available to us, the books, the authors, you know, the accounts, the podcasts to follow. And I'll share some links after today's session. So we know where to look. We know where to start some of this kind of wider work. And, you know, I really just encourage you to, it's not just a case of, okay, you know, we've read a book now and we're done. Keep space, make space to keep learning about racism and what it takes to change. Because, you know, through that learning, through that continuous learning, we begin to break down our belief systems. Okay, nobody sees themselves as being a racist person. Nobody sees themselves and puts their hand up and says, I'm racist. Like, it doesn't work like that, does it? You know, it's like, but the thing is, it's like, this is about our belief systems and breaking down belief systems and identifying any biases that we have. And so we have to deepen our understanding in these areas. And part of your commitment to doing this work is also to connect to why you want to do this work. Yeah, part of your commitment is also to connect to why you want to do this work, and to understand that it's an ongoing journey. It's not a marathon, it's an ongoing journey. You know, we need to be committed to this long term and make it a part of our business. So start with yourself, and the understanding of, you know, to get a clearer understanding of history and how the yoga industry has operated in the past, and an understanding of cultural appropriation, and to understand, you know, how each of us individually are positioned within it, and what's in our power to be able to change things so that people of colour and BIPOC communities can have better access to yoga. Does that make sense? I've lost the light here on Instagram. Sorry, guys. I hope you can see me still okay. So give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. And I think, you know, when you're committed to doing this work and to gaining knowledge and a better understanding, and you have a really clear intention as to why you want to do this work, it's then about being committed to doing this as a practice, because it's an ongoing process. It's a culture shift, and that takes time, not a marathon. It's not a marathon. It's one of the biggest things I got yesterday from talking with Michelle. You know, it's not a marathon. Yes, lots of thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, you know, otherwise, you know, if we haven't started with our intention and our why, and we haven't started with the knowledge gaining and understanding and a true belief and purpose for why we want to be part of this work, why we're doing it, if we don't start with that, then what happens is it becomes performative. Like, we're just ticking boxes and getting it done. You know, if I'm a studio owner, I've hired X number of Black teachers, so now I'm inclusive and I've done the work I don't need to do anymore. Do you see what I mean? So we really need to start with ourselves. Connect to why you're doing this. Do the work. Do the work. Learn. Yeah, learn. Continue to learn. Commit to continuing to learn. To challenge yourself. Like, to challenge yourself. If you think right now, well, I'm inclusive, you know, yoga's for everyone, my studio space is for everyone, I'm inclusive, I don't need to do this work, I really, really challenge you to have a beginner's mind. Yeah, have a beginner's mind. Humility. Ask yourself some questions. You know, what is the experience for BIPOC students who come to my classes, who come to my studio? What is their experience? Ask yourself, like, what barriers stand in the way? of BIPOC and students of colour, you know, feeling a sense of welcoming and belonging. Ask yourself, what will I put in place to find out what I don't yet realise I'm doing that could negatively impact BIPOC? Ask yourself these questions. And then, you know, you have to think of this as a lifelong learning opportunity. The more we learn, the better we get at it. And you will make mistakes. You know, I'm not an expert. You guys aren't. We're not experts. But you gain a better understanding of what things you should and shouldn't be saying. Or, you know, where things have certain meaning. Does that make sense? You know, the historical context of certain phrases and words and images. And I think this is really, really important place to start. You know, if you're willing to make mistakes, and, you know, there's a lot of growth that comes from that. Okay, so the better we get, the fewer mistakes we make, right? The better we get at this and the more that we learn. So I'm just gonna have a look at some of the comments that have come in on this. So that's step number 1, guys, do the work. Commit to ongoing work, ongoing learning. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Rick, is it Rick? He says, you're right. People usually are raised within a current belief system which doesn't let them see past their own situation. Yeah. And you know, it's not that we mean to do that, but it's a belief system, isn't it? So we have to challenge it. We do have to challenge it. Let's have a look on Facebook here. Oh, thank you guys. I'm just seeing all these come through now. I'm sorry, they didn't come through before. I'm still learning how to go back and do some more research. I was very reactive at first. I had to take time for my practice. This is spirit, mind, body yoga. And she says, I had to learn how to manage my anger during this time. Even though I'm black, I notice how easily it is to be taken away by our anger. Yeah. Chitra says, I loved Holiday's interview. Yes, so Holiday Phillips, she's actually the consultant that we've been working with here at Digital Yoga Academy. And she is amazing. So she did an interview for the summit. So for those of you that signed up for the summit, go inside our online school and just go and take a look at that. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number two, and these are steps, guys. These 3 steps are steps that we can all do. Okay, you know how I love these trainings to be actionable for you, but these are steps that we can all do. So does everybody agree that step 1, we can all do that? Everybody give me a thumbs up if you agree that we can all go away and do step 1. Because we know where we need to start, really. We know where we need to start with this, and we know that the resources are there for us, but also we need to kind of challenge our own bias as well. And that's really part of step 1, and doing that kind of inner work. Yeah, definitely. Cheryl says, yep, commit to stepping out of the norm. It goes both ways. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yes, thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, step 2 is to diversify your circle of influence. Okay, so think about your own behavior here, because we tend to connect with and spend time with people who look like us, who think like us, who are doing the same things, having the same types of experiences. And what that does is it actually limits our perspective, okay? Because we're hearing and seeing the same information over and over and over again. And this information that we hear and see over and over again, what it does is it just supports our belief systems, okay? What we already believe, it supports that. And so, you know, when it comes to people who are different from you, it makes it harder for you to really understand those people. And in business, when it applies to business, it makes it harder for you to be able to provide solutions to their needs and their problems. Does that make sense? So we have to get a bit intentional. We have to be a bit more intentional about making sure that we're getting the type of influence that will have an impact on the way we think and the way we act and behave. So I think with this step, you know, it's really about looking at how you can diversify your circle of influence. And when you start to interact and build relationships with people who are different from you, you start to increase your awareness. Yeah, you start to increase your awareness about how you can make changes in your business to make other people feel like they belong. Okay, so any ideas, guys? Share with me in the comments. Any ideas where we could look to expand our influence? Any ideas? Any ideas? Where could you look to expand your circle of influence? Where could you go? Any ideas where you might go? It's not a trick question. Well, maybe it is, because one of these places I'm in right now. Yeah, Instagram. Instagram's a great place to expand our circle of influence. Okay, so if we're looking to create a more diverse circle of influence, Instagram is a really, really great place. Like, you can take action today. Everybody has Instagram, right? All of you have Instagram. So if you want to take action, and yeah, and it can be online, it can be in Facebook, it can be in other communities that you're in, but Instagram is a really great place. And I think if you want to do this, if you want to start to look at how you can diversify your circle of influence and the information that you're receiving, the people that you're interacting with, you can start researching and following different people on Instagram, and just looking at what people are doing and how they're talking about things, how they're approaching their businesses, and practitioners, students, different networks, and opening it up to having a different influence on you. Okay, and I think for me personally, I know that I've certainly followed more and more Black women, yoga teachers, business owners over the last few months. And it's awesome because it helps you to learn different approaches, and that are perhaps unique and different to perhaps your own, and it gives you a chance to learn and to elevate people and to create connections. Okay, so that's step 2. So would we all agree that step 2 is also something that we can all do? It's an easy step. Okay, so step 1 is to commit to doing our ongoing anti-racism work, which really is about looking at the history, looking at our own intentions, really tapping into and connecting to our why and committing to that work, ongoing work. It's not a marathon. That's step 1. Step 2 is to look at how we can increase our circle of influence, the information that we're receiving and the people that we're connecting with from different backgrounds. Okay, and Instagram is a really great place because you can get into hashtags, you can do research really easily in Instagram, and you can start connecting and following some really awesome people. Okay, so I really encourage you to do this. I'm sure lots of you have also done that over the last few months. I'm sure you have. And I loved it because I was finding new accounts, and some of these, say, yoga teachers who were gaining lots of new followers, and they were posting and saying, this is amazing, lots of new people here following me now, and this is what I do, and this is what I'm about. And it really gives you a chance, as I said, to elevate other people in the industry as well. Okay, so it gives you a chance to learn and to create connections, which brings me to step 3. Okay, so step 3, so we've had 2 easy steps so far. I say easy, the first one perhaps isn't, it's not a tick, we're not ticking a box here, it's an ongoing step. But step 3 is really about focusing on those connections, yeah, focusing on the relationships with the people that you're getting to know, because those relationships will help you to accelerate your learning, which goes back to step 1, doesn't it? Because that's a continuous step, yeah, it doesn't stop. And it gives you a bit more of a bit more of a stake in it, I guess, because the more you have a relationship with people, the more invested you are, and the more you're able to be inclusive of people who are different from you. Does that make sense? So, you know, you've got more of a vested interest in making sure that people are included in whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what today is about. We're talking about how to build a more inclusive yoga business. Okay, so it means that you're more open to adjusting your approach so that people, you know, from other backgrounds feel like they belong. And these relationships, you know, can be with other teachers, with businesses, you know, brands, ideal students, but people who are different to you, you know, seek them out and start creating a network and connections and relationships with people. And when you have better relationships with people who are different to you, we can better listen to the experiences of other people. Yeah, we better listen to them, and we become a better listener, and we become better business owners, and we become better people. And, you know, I think Brené Brown, you've all heard of Brené Brown, right? She said, one of the things she said, it really stuck in my mind. It was so simple, but she says, the work of anti-racism is becoming a better human to other humans. Yeah, the work of anti-racism is becoming a better human to other humans. And to be a better human to other humans, we need to have better relationships. Okay, so that is step 3, is to really focus on relationships. Amazing. So there you go, guys. Short and sweet for you today, but coming at you with three steps, with 3 practical steps that each and every one of us can do. We all agree that we can do these things. So can I have a thumbs up to step 3 as well? So there you go. So step 1, commit to doing your own anti-racism work. Step 2, increase your circle of influence, so diversify it. And step 3, build relationships. Step 3, build relationships. So I really hope that it gives you something today to really have a think about, reflect on, and look at how you can start to implement these steps in your own business. And again, you know, this is about having that ripple effect. You know, the more that we can do this work and really connect to it because we want to do it, that has to be very important. We're doing this because we really want to do it. The more we do this work, you know, the more inclusive we can create, the more diverse communities we can create, and the more inclusive those communities can be, because you can have a diverse community, but it might not be inclusive. So, you know, I think when we do that, we create better access for all. We create better access for everyone. We create better access for students of colour, for BIPOC students, for Black students. And we create a better world. You know, it's this ripple effect, isn't it? It's the ripple effect. Okay, so yoga is there to be shared, and I know each and every one of you want to share it. So I really encourage you to do this work with us. Let's all do it together in a supportive and compassionate community that we are. Let's all learn from one another. Let's listen to each other. So lots of you are sharing in the Facebook group, which is amazing, sharing experiences. And I think, you know, that's what this is about. We need to understand the experiences that we all have and learn from that and support each other with these experiences, and to be there and to do this together. Okay, so for those of you on Instagram, if you're not in our incredible Facebook group, you need to come over and join us. And I'm pretty sure that there's a link in the bio that you can follow to head over to the Facebook group. My brain has gone to put. But also there's the survey. So I mentioned this at the very beginning. Thank you, Rick. He says he's going to be joining the Facebook group. So I mentioned at the beginning we are hosting's the wrong word, isn't it? We're running a survey at the moment. We have a survey out there in the world with you guys, and we really want you to take part in this survey so that we can do our work properly and do it in the right way and take the right steps. So please take part in the survey. If you're here and you're listening to me now, I'd love for you to take part. And yeah, the group is a great place to share your experiences. So really, really happy to be here and share this with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining live. For those of you on the replay, thank you as well. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Lots of love, lots of love. Bye. Bye bye.